Welcome, gamers. I'm your host, Cobra, and today we're talking the Riot Racers Drop that's coming this week. Riot Racers is a racing, play-to-earn game that I've been following for the last several months. They recently released the first version of their web app. They've done a couple of drops so far with mixed results, and they're getting ready to have their third drop later this week. It was actually planned for the 11th, which was a few days ago, but they delayed it, wanting to be 100% sure that they would be ready. We currently don't even have a date, but they said to expect it the week of the 16th. That's coming up tomorrow. So I want to make sure we get a video out there for you, tell you a little bit about the project, talk a little bit about what's happened so far, where the project is at today, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the drop and specifically the strategy that I'm using going in, what we're going to be shopping for, and why. So as I mentioned, I've been following Riot Racers for a few months now. Brief history, they've had a couple of drops. Neither one went terribly smooth. In both cases, I thought that the team did a good job communicating. I didn't participate in the first drop at all, so I can't give you too much history there. On the second drop, there were big issues, but it was primarily OpenSea. In fact, I've seen lots and lots of drops go poorly. This is the only time I've seen the OpenSea actually jump into a project's Discord, take the blame directly, explain what they were doing to fix it. Essentially, they put all the cars up on OpenSea. When the drop happened, the website was only accepting offers instead of actually processing an order. And because of that, the cars didn't get distributed in the best manner. One person in particular ended up getting a lot of cars somehow, and overall wasn't the smoothest experience. I did get one car. It was higher end than the car that I wanted. However, I sold it, repurchased the car that I was looking for, and in fact, because they released a handful of additional cars through some private sales for people who missed out completely in an effort to make it up to them, there were some new colors that came out, and so this worked out in my favor. I got one that wasn't available during the drop originally. It's a very cool turquoise. I'm going to show that to you in a moment when we take a look at the app. But all in all, it certainly could have been much worse, both from my perspective and I think from the team's perspective as well. Since then, they've been doing a ton of work. They've released the web app that we're going to check out here in a moment. They've updated the white paper a little bit, and I'm expecting that this next one should go a bit smoother. And the thing that's really exciting is they're finally selling some racetrack land plots. We'll dig into that when we talk about the white paper. All right, so really quickly here, we're going to take a look at the web app. I want to share this specifically because there was no web app when the last drop happened. So this development has all happened within the last month or two. That's pretty good progress if you ask me. Without a lot of delays. We got solid communication along the way as well. So here is where I'm expecting the drop is actually going to happen later this week. We should see another update adding some drop details here. Eventually, this will take us to the gas station. That's where you'll pay to get into races. This will take you to the mechanic shop. That's where you'll repair or upgrade your car. This will take you to the track. That's obviously where the races are happening. And then billboards, I know you're going to have to drive past a billboard when you enter a race or watch a race, something to that effect. So there'll be more here as well. None of these do anything today, but we can click on the My Account tab, and there we go. This is showing you my one race car. It is a Rally Class Fuego. I really love this turquoise color. Rally is not the entry level, it is one above that. That means it's going to start out with a little bit more experience. I believe it'll be able to race on a couple of different tracks instead of just the intro. But I'll be starting relatively low. I'd like to get more cars. However, I'm not entirely sure how that's going to affect our play to earn strategy just yet. And I'm actually much more interested in the in-game assets, which we're going to talk about next. All right, here we've got the white paper pulled up. I'm going to tell you just a little bit about the gameplay. If you're interested in learning more, I'll have a link in the description as well, so that you can read through this. With every project that we invest in, I always recommend you read through the website, read through the white paper, read through their Discord, and get as much detail as you can. But this is a pretty straightforward racing game. You're going to purchase a car to start out with. You're going to need to purchase gas from a gas station. Those are player owned. That will allow you to enter into a race. Once you've entered into a race, you're not going to be using a controller and controlling your car to get to the finish line. Instead, it'll be a simulation based on how upgraded your car is, how much experience you have, and the biggest determining factor, from what I can tell, is choosing your race strategy. So there's a little bit of information here about what that's like. Essentially, it's things like braking technique, acceleration technique, pit strategy. You get to choose those things. They get factored into the algorithm and impact the outcome. I expect over time we are going to learn what some good, effective race strategies are like, but that's all to be developed. Over time, you will win Riot tokens. You'll be able to use that to upgrade your car. You'll also get experience for every race that you enter, so that your car can move up in class. Moving up in class will allow you to race for bigger prizes. One more really cool little feature that I want to point out here is something that they call the fair entry strategy. Now, we've talked about a couple other games like Zed-Run or Axie Infinity, and how those are expensive games to get into. That's because people are already earning money, so you can calculate the value of these assets, and many of the assets are already gone and they are limited. So the prices are pretty high to get into a project like that. This is something that the Riot Racers team wants to avoid, specifically because it stifles growth. Mobile games thrive off of having millions of users, and I think that is the strategy that Riot Racers is going after here as well. So the fair entry strategy is simple. You will always be able to purchase a rookie class car for $25 or $25 worth of Ethereum. That means that next summer, when this game is in full swing and hopefully a bunch of us are earning money every month playing the game, if you find this video a year later and want to get in, you're still going to have an entry into the project for only about $25. That's something that I have not seen almost anywhere else, and is a factor that I really like here for long-term growth. Now, so far I haven't told you anything about this game that is terribly different or revolutionary. What is a little bit different that I'm quite excited about is the Riot Racers metaverse itself. Includes a whole bunch of in-game assets that are going to be player-owned. So we're going to take a look at a couple of those things in the white paper right now. The first one and most expensive is a gas station. This will be the rarest asset in the game. They do not come cheap, and there's only going to be 20 of them total. During the upcoming drop, it's going to be 4.4 Ethereum to get your hands on one of only 3 gas stations this time around. If you happen to have that kind of budget, I do think that that's a really interesting investment. They're essentially guaranteeing 2 years of payouts. So as long as you can wait the 2 years, you should expect to see profits. This does not rely on the game growing and becoming successful like I think it will. These are also just estimates and not guarantees, so please don't spend 4.4 Ethereum thinking that you're guaranteed to double that money, though that is the type of payout that they are talking about here. What's cool is with a gas station, it's just like the real world. Your car doesn't run without gas. You don't get to race without purchasing gas. So if this game is working at all, people will be buying gas from the gas stations, and the owners will be getting a cut and making money passively. The next item that's going to be up for sale in this drop and also is very interesting to me is a mechanic shop. Now this is where you're going to take your car for repairs and upgrades. We don't know too much about the type of upgrades, what that's going to cost, but there are very good anticipated returns for this asset as well. And again, it is core to the gameplay. If Riot Racers is working at all, players are going to be going into the mechanic shops to fix and repair and upgrade their cars probably every day. And then next is the racetrack land plots. This is the asset that I have been waiting for them to drop. They haven't done this yet, and in the next drop, they're only going to be doing rookie racetrack plots. However, it's the first opportunity. I am going to grab as many of these as I can. Owning a racetrack plot means you have a 1/100th share of that particular racetrack, and you're going to get a share of the revenue for entry that goes into it. It's split up equally, and from what I can tell, this is another purely passive income play. Finally, there's also going to be what they're calling billboard land. Now, racing has a strong tradition of lots of advertising, and this game is going to be similar. So if you own a billboard plot, you're going to have some control over the advertising that happens within the game, at least I believe. Without a doubt, you will be getting a share of the revenue generated from those ads. And my understanding is that when you enter a race, you're going to be driving past at least one billboard each time. So interesting partnership opportunities there. These are not going to be available in this next coming drop. Alright, so I recorded this video originally a little over a week ago before the Riot Racers drop got pushed back to the 26th. They are now on track to have that third drop actually take place this week, and everything in the video is still totally relevant and current. However, I wanted to add a couple of extra details because we learned a little bit more as we got closer to the drop date. So what has changed since last week? Honestly, not too much. We have learned some new information, however. So first things first, the link for the drop is not going to be available until the exact time of the drop. Now this is done in an effort to fight bots, because the more time that somebody has to prepare all of their bots, the more items they're going to be able to scoop up, and without having that link ahead of time, it makes it a little bit more difficult. Nothing can be done to eliminate the bot issue entirely, but that should help alleviate the problem at least a little bit. It was something they ran into last time. I'm not exactly sure how, but one buyer was able to get like 35 or 40 cars, which dampened the mood to say the least, to go along with a handful of other issues that were happening on the OpenSea side. However, they've made big changes to the marketplace and how this drop is going to actually work in a way that I'm quite excited about. They're using a reservation system, and a card game called Parallel recently had a similar type of drop. It was slower, but the overall process was much better than the typical drop experience. It helped a ton with gas fees. I think we're still going to face that a little bit here because the window is shorter, but overall you got what you reserved, and everybody had a really positive experience. I am hoping and expecting the same here, although the system's a little bit different. So a couple of things that I think are key, and I asked a bunch of questions in the Discord of the mod team and the development team to try and figure this out. But the way it works is once you've added something to your cart, that is reserved for you for up to 15 minutes. So what they are suggesting that you do is know what you want first, know what your highest priority is, and go immediately add that to your cart. Once you've done so, you're good. In theory, you can then go back and add more stuff to your cart, and you'll have a new 15-minute timer for each thing that you're adding. So if you want to get multiple items, that's going to be the best way to do it. Figure out what's priority number one, go add that first. If you're really shooting for a gas station or a mechanic shop, which are the most limited items by far in this drop, you're going to have to be quick. If you're going for racetrack plots or cars, especially lower priced cars, you're still going to have to be quick. I expect most things are going to go right away. However, there's a 15-minute timer to make the payment, and I can almost guarantee that some stuff will get reserved and not paid for during that first 15-minute window and then come back. So if you're patient, keep refreshing the page at about 15-16 minutes. You're going to have an opportunity to buy a little bit more. So that's going to be my plan, is go after the racetrack plots first, and then if I can, I want to try and get a couple of the cars. The new models, which we're going to take a look at in a second, are really, really cool. I wasn't originally planning on going for cars at all, but I think I want to grab at least one if I can. Lastly, they teased us with most of the new car models that are going to be out for this drop. This is the part where I get a little bit sad, because I just told you I no longer expecting to be able to get a car just because I want to maximize my chances at those racetrack plots. However, there's some really cool new models that are available we've got here to take a look at. The ones that I think are coolest are the Pandora, is kind of interesting. The Storm Chaser we had already, and then the Panther. That's the one that I would be going for. I am still going to try, but like I said, we're going to go for the racetrack plots first, and then if we're able to get a Panther later, great. But here's the Aurora, the Airbender, the Annihilator, and the Trailblazer, the Mirage. Not all of those are new. And then they've teased a Venom. I wonder what this one's going to look like. My guess is something like a Dodge Viper, but we shall see. So let's talk about the actual drop itself. Again, we don't have a specific date or time yet. I'll certainly update the video with those specifics once we get them. Keep an eye on the Riot Racers Discord, as well as their Twitter, so you catch that update yourself as well. But they told us to expect it the week of the 16th. I'm recording this on the 15th, so that is tomorrow, which means I'm expecting that probably tomorrow we're going to get an update, maybe even tonight. We'll get an update on what day to expect the drop to happen, what time to expect it to happen. We'll start to get things like the contract details and links as well. But to get prepared, let's take a look at what they're actually dropping. I put together a quick little spreadsheet of what they shared in Discord so far. There's going to be a total of 700 cars available. They start at the rookie class, which is going to be 0.0083 Ethereum. That goes all the way up to a 0.99 Ethereum legendary class. Again, if you purchase higher end cars, they're going to be in higher classes to start, which is going to give you more options and I believe quicker earning capabilities. However, you're able to work up into those classes over time as well. So it's not necessary that you drop an entire ETH and grab a legendary car if you're planning to be a competitive player. At least I don't believe so today. The in-game assets, however, I mentioned that's what I am most interested in for this particular drop. I already have one car. If I get the opportunity to grab another one, I'd love to have another rally car, or maybe even a couple of the rookies as well. But my primary goal is to get my hands on the racetrack plots. They're only selling plots for a rookie racetrack. There's going to be 200 of them available at 0.2 Ethereum. My goal is to get at least 3 of them. I believe that there will be enough demand for land plots that we'll be able to flip one of those for at least double the drop cost. Ideally for triple. So we buy 3, sell 1, and keep 2 of them on a full free roll. That's the goal. However, my free roll attempt on the last drop didn't work so well. I've got about half of the cost of this Fuego car, 2/3 of the cost, covered from flipping profits so far. So if we get 3 and the resale is not quite that good, we may end up having to sell 2 of them in order to cover our entire cost, and end up with just 1 plot for the free roll. I'd like more than that, and I believe in this project enough that I don't think it's necessary to have a full free roll going straight out of the gate. So if I'm able to get 3 and it's not reselling quite as well as I hope, then we might just hold on to them anyways. I think that over time those values will go up as well. But in general, land tends to be very, very popular in the NFT landscape today. There's all sorts of metaverses out there that are not close to providing any sort of earning opportunity, where land sells for big premiums, but nothing's guaranteed here. So since it's not the cheapest asset, we're gonna play it a little bit conservatively, and hopefully we're able to grab 3 of them. The other factor here is 200 is not a big number, and it's hard to predict how many people are going to be going after those plots. It might sell out super duper quickly. They might implement some limits or even a whitelist. We'll have to pay attention to the Discord and make sure we put ourselves in the best position to get those possible. If there is any type of requirement to purchase racetrack lands, I'll try and add a update here to the video as well. There's also going to be 18 mechanic shops available at 0.7 Ethereum. And then like I mentioned earlier in the video, there's going to be 3 gas stations at 4.4 Ethereum. If you happen to have that budget, I would be trying to purchase a gas station myself. That is definitely not in the budget today, but if that's the type of investment that you're looking for, I think that that's a really, really interesting one. One other little side note that I don't think is going to make a big difference in the game, but worth pointing out, if you own any of the in-game assets, you're going to get a title within the game that matches it. So if you own a gas station, I believe that makes you a gas baron. And again, I don't know that there's going to be any real perks that go along with that. They did mention with the mechanic shop you get a discount on your own repairs and upgrades, which might be an interesting opportunity to earn a little bit of income as well, upgrading cars and reselling them. If you happen to own that 15% discount too, potentially an interesting strategy. But these are what's going to be available during the drop this week. This is the stuff that I'm going to be looking forward to the most, primarily because all of these are passive earners. Right? The core game itself, you actually have to play, learn how to race, upgrade your car. That'll be fun, so I'm going to be excited to do that as well. But from an earning standpoint, just owning the racetrack land means you're going to get a slice of the revenue without having to do anything else. That's really attractive to me. Now, if you're new to flipping or are more concerned with getting your money back out and creating that free roll opportunity that we've talked about so many times in the past, I highly, highly, highly recommend that you go for rookie race cars only. So far, this is the only car or asset within the game that I have seen that regularly flips at a high enough multiple that you can sell one and cover the cost of more than one car itself. So if you're able to get your hands on, say, 2 or 3 rookie class cars, you'll be able to sell one and cover the full cost, no problem. So if we're employing the free roll strategy to its most efficient, that should be your only target for the drop this week. However, because I mentioned this is a project that I definitely am tracking and believe in, I am willing to risk a little bit more than that. We shall see if my free roll strategy works or not. If it doesn't, I'm okay with that because we're going to be able to earn back our money in other ways with those assets. So today we dove into Riot Racers in preparation of the upcoming drop for this week. We looked at the website, then we dove into the white paper and did a quick deep dive on in-game assets so that you know what is available in the drop. We talked about my strategy and what I'll be going for and why. We also talked about the most effective and efficient way to approach this drop if you're looking to create a free roll opportunity for yourself. I'm excited to have it happen, and we'll include some updates afterwards to talk about how the drop went. I've also included a whole bunch of links for you with this video. There's one to my Twitter account. We're going to be talking about the channel and all of the different projects that we are following and investing in on that account. Great way to stay up to date. Please check it out and follow. I've also included a whole bunch of Riot Racers specific links. The most important one there is the Discord. If you're interested in the drop, absolutely join the Discord right away. That's where you're going to get the most details on everything coming up. It's also your best opportunity to engage with the community that's investing, as well as the mods and developers running the project. So if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any of the future content on the channel, because gamers, we're free rolling.